This is a Celo Beats production.
Hello dear viewers, my name is Nino and you're watching Nino's product reviews, and today we're going to take a closer look at a very interesting smartphone, namely the Irulu V3, the V standing for victory. As we can see, the components inside are quite interesting. We have a quad-core processor. It's actually the Snapdragon 410, clocked at 1.2 GHz per core. We have a 6.5-inch display, which is going to be the main interesting part about it. It's a 720p display, so the pixel density is not that high, but it still looks great. We have 2 GB of RAM, 16 GB of ROM. So we're gonna go into the what this device can do in a few seconds, but first let's just take a look at the device itself. Now the build quality is actually quite good. It really feels nice in your hands. It feels solid, it doesn't feel cheap, besides the bezels. Now the bezels themselves, as you can see, are made of plastic, which is supposed to look like metal, but fails in that aspect. Every other part of it, however, looks really nice. I'm generally liking this phone. We have on the lower side the microphone and the charging slot, then we have a 3.5mm headphone jack on top and our IR blaster. This phone also obviously supports Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, all those standard things, GPS. I'm not gonna go into too many details. We have a foil, protection foil, which is already applied on the phone, so that's good. It does not have any Gorilla Glass, so if you drop this huge phone on the floor, you're pretty likely to break it, but that nowadays is true for pretty much any phone, although sometimes manufacturers want you to believe otherwise. Now here we have a replacement foil. If you manage to somehow scratch the other one, don't like it, you could replace it with this one. You have a charging cable. Obviously you're gonna need to charge the phone somehow. What else do we have here? Hold a second, let me just put this stuff like that so it's more organized. The headphones are up there. As you can see, they're generic headphones with a microphone attached to them. Nothing too special, but always nice to get. You know, most more expensive phones don't give us anything like that, so I'm always grateful to see that. Obviously the power brick here, also nothing special, but it is something very essential and important. Now let me check what else we have here. This looks like alright, this is some kind of advertisement, and below it we have the manual, and this manual is actually quite nice. It offers colored pictures with the instructions, but the instructions are very general. But if you really don't understand Android, I think you'll find your way fairly fast. It is an easy system to get used to, and now the newer versions, namely the 5.1.1 that is installed on this phone, makes it even easier to use it. So next up, let's just open up the back of the phone and see what we have in there. As they have promised us, the first thing that's gonna greet you is the huge 3000 mAh battery. Now while it is pretty big, it's actually very thin, and I feel as though they could have packed an even bigger one in here. For such a large device, this battery is going to hold you out for about a day. I say about a day because depending on how actively I use this phone, most of the time it went for about 8 hours, 9 hours, and then it was dead. I could not use it anymore. Now you have two different options for your SIM cards. You have a micro SIM and a nano SIM, and of course you can have two of them simultaneously, which is a beautiful thing. But each of them would support respectively, the micro SIM supports 4G and the nano SIM 2G, and of course you have an expansion slot for micro SD card, which is always a beautiful thing to have. Now as you can see, I have stress tested this phone by having a lot of applications open in the background. It does not seem to slow down, courtesy of the Snapdragon 810 processor. It really can handle pretty much anything you throw at it without any problems. Now if we move on to the storage, you're going to notice that out of the 16 GB, you only have about half of them available. That of course is not a big deal, since we have an expansion slot, which allows us to use a micro SD card and expand up to with a 64 GB, for example. The Android is 5.1.1, so it's the genuine thing. If you want to be with the latest kind of operational system, this is a good phone to go with. I've opened the Daily Mirror here to show you the browsing experience. It's a site which bombards you with a lot of pictures, a lot of videos, but it's still loaded extremely fast. You see the pinch to zoom works also beautifully. In terms of performance, this phone will definitely not disappoint you. But what's the point of having such a huge screen if not utilizing it by watching stuff? And if you're watching this video, you probably enjoy YouTube, so I'm just gonna show you what it would look like roughly to watch something on YouTube. Of course, my camera cannot capture everything as well as the human eye will. You're gonna have to take my word for it. It looks very beautifully, all the colors are nice, the reproduction of the video is excellent, and the 720p still look great on this phone, and you don't notice any kind of pixelization, so that is absolutely sufficient in terms of quality. Now I've run this phone through Antutu benchmark, and you see I've had over 27,000 points. The second time now that I'm running it, I had all the programs in the background running, so this was of course burdening the phone, and we have a lot under it. We got 26.2. Still, that is enough. Everything that's over 24,000 will be able to run any kind of game or applications out there without any issues. As you can see here, with all these applications in the background, again, I'm running Asphalt and it plays beautifully, no stuttering, no slowdown, no nothing. And this is one of the more demanding games. So as mentioned before, if you want performance, this phone is going to deliver, and it's going to deliver well. It's just always such a thing with having such a huge phone. Now while I was playing this game, it almost felt like I was playing a handheld console, not an actual phone, and that was great. That definitely is an experience I can recommend to everyone. But if you want to use it as a daily driver, it might be too big unless you have some kind of a bag to carry. Now the cameras, the two cameras are actually something of a weak point. While the hardware promises quite a lot, the software also delivers, but it does not look as good. I mean, we have a camera on one end, the rear camera with 13 megapixel. You can see here low light condition pictures, and that camera seems to make pictures which just don't look quite like 30 megapixels to me. They just don't look as good. Here with better lighting conditions, a bit better, but ultimately not as good. Now this is the front camera with 5 megapixels. It will absolutely do, but if you want a phone for its camera, this will not be your phone. Just the cameras don't deliver, not to the level at which I have seen other phones. But again, and of course the main question here is, should I buy this phone? Should you buy this phone? Well, if you think bigger is better, you probably won't find anything bigger out there. But as you can see, when I was tapping in landscape mode, it felt almost like a bit too much. It's a great phone. It has a hardware that is not gonna back down to anything, and it has an acceptable price. But is it too big? That's something you will have to decide for yourself. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if that was the case, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you want to support my YouTube channel further, you may click on the Patreon sign on top, or you can also use the Amazon link that I've provided in the description to buy something within 5 minutes after clicking on that link. It really helps me, guys, and I'd be really grateful if you did so. In any case, thanks for watching, and I hope I'll see you on the next video.